a little bit outside the boundaries of what we normally talk about on this show, but it's a Netflix story, so I'll allow it. So says Judge Judy. I'll allow it. Netflix did their first little maneuver into the world of mixed martial arts and had for the first time in its history this big live mixed martial arts card, which was run by MVP Productions, which is run by that tool Jake Paul. But you know what? A very interesting idea. I like the idea. UFC needs some competition.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of doing it. Netflix is a great partner to do it at. They had tremendous success with some of their boxing stuff. So they decided to take a shot at it with Netflix, see what they could do with it. And of course, headlining the whole thing is probably the most famous female fighter of all time in Ronda Rousey, the rowdy one, against one of the OGs in the whole thing, a trailblazer for female combat sports, Gina Carano. And that was going to be the big event. One woman who hasn't fought in 17 years, one woman who hasn't fought professionally, I don't know, 9 years or something like that. But again, a legitimate Olympic judo medalist. So there you go. They also had like the most dangerous and most feared heavyweight in the planet, Francis Ngannou, was fighting on it. They had a crowd favorite, Nate Diaz, against Platinum Mike Perry. They had one of my favorite heavyweights of all time, Junior Dos Santos. I love Junior Dos Santos. And, you know, a number of other interesting looking fights. So I tuned in to watch it to see, could this be a new thing for Netflix? It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I think it has to be considered a giant embarrassment for Netflix and an embarrassment for MVP Productions. Number one, when I turned it on, I remember I didn't even watch the prelims. I just turned it on for the main card. It was held at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, which Ann and I have gone to a couple times. World-class stadium, man. If you've never been to the new Intuit Dome, I highly recommend going for something. It is a fabulous facility. Love it. 3/4 empty by the time the main card started. They kept doing these big wide camera shots, like, but every time they go to these big wide camera shots, it's like all you saw was empty seats. Now, granted, they started to fill out a little bit as you got closer and closer to the main event. But even by the time Ronda Rousey made her walk out, there was still a lot of empty seats, man. Like even like Essentially Sports here talking about UFC fans. UFC is the competitor to this, obviously. Mock Jake Paul as Netflix's Rousey Carano left with several unsold tickets. Several is kind. Several, some measurement of number. And so every time they do these big wide shots, I'm like, God, that's embarrassing. And like, I don't know what they were thinking, but just for decent seats, they wanted $700. And like the nosebleed seats, they wanted $150 for what? Like one fighter who hasn't fought in 17 years, one who hasn't fought in like 9, a 40-something-year-old Nate Diaz who is way over the hill. You can be over 40 and still be in your prime. Nate Diaz is way over the hill at this point. He's one of my all-time favorite fighters. But that dude has so much scar tissue on his face. If you look at him sternly, he starts to bleed. And like he's a bleeder, man. And that you saw in the fight because he was just gushing blood everywhere from not even anything like highlight-worthy heavy shots. And he was just gushing blood everywhere. You had a 42-year-old Junior Dos Santos who physically looked like a comic book character. Like he looked in great shape, but he was slow. He was whatever. And of course he got knocked out in the first round. Nate Diaz got stopped because the chair wouldn't let him get up because he was just bleeding too much. They put Francis Ngannou in against a tin can. So obviously Francis knocked him out in the first round. And I was fascinated to see the Carano Rousey fight. I won't tell you who it was, but there's somebody you guys know who I had a text exchange with the day they announced the fight. I won't say who it is, but you know them. And this person was the one who texted me and said, my God, this fight is happening. And I said, oh my God, like I said, it's totally pointless, but man, it's going to be huge on Netflix. To which my friend said, I've got Gina Carano beating Rousey. Rousey is broken. To which I said, oh, no chance in hell. I'll take Rousey at 30% over 100% Gina Carano every day. She will tap Carano out in the first round. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. To which my friend then went on in great detail to explain why I was wrong and how Carano is just the smarter fighter, the better fighter. So the main event starts. Ronda Rousey taps her out in 17 seconds. Just did what an Olympic bronze medalist judo fighter does. Shot, took her down, postured up, landed some ground and pound to get Gina to put up her arms to guard. Once Gina put her arms up to guard, Rousey grabbed the arm, flipped it around right into her patented arm bar. Game over, 17 seconds. Which, you know what? 17 seconds, it was really still fun for me as somebody who's been a mixed martial arts guy my whole life, at least going back to UFC 2. It was pretty cool to see Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano in there. And Carano does not belong in a cage with Ronda Rousey. There's maybe 5 women on the planet who should be in the cage with Ronda Rousey. And remember, Ronda Rousey's only ever lost 2 fights in her life. One was to 17-time world champion Holly Holm in combat sports, and the other was to arguably the greatest female fighter in the history of the world with Amanda Nunes. Those are the only 2 fights she's ever lost. And I contend right now, if she went to the UFC right now and fought 20 times, she'd be 18-2, depending on who it is she fought. And I got to say this for Gina Carano. While she has no business being in a cage with Ronda Rousey's just a different level of animal. She looked great, man.
Yes,
she
looked
did. The healthiest she has looked in 15 years. You know, like you may like her in Mandalorian, and I thought she was good in Mandalorian, but she was clearly not in the same physical shape that she used to be in. And when you saw her make that walk, the announcer said, you know what? It sounds like hyperbole, but I believe it. The announcer said she lost 100 pounds. She lost 100 pounds. And to see that, guys, losing 20 pounds is insanely hard to do. And she lost 100 pounds and she looked great and she looked healthy and she looked happy. Yeah. And she looked like I would definitely not want to get into an argument with her at a bar. And good, like, yeah, she got wiped out, but anybody with common sense knew she would. But she went in there, she got herself in great shape, super happy for her, and she made $1.1 million for 17 seconds of work. You tell me who's winning at life. I mean, Rousey's winning a bit more. She got paid like $2.3 million, but good on her. But again, overall though, it was a disaster. The broadcast was a disaster. It was humiliating and embarrassing. They just wheeled it out. All these guys who were far over the hill who have a name, and it was just embarrassing. There was this one French fighter, I'm forgetting his name, who they brought out that actually he looked really sharp. He was the one legit MMA guy out there that looked really good, but everything else was just embarrassing. Did you even bother to tune in and check out any of that?
I watched the clip of Ronda Rousey being taken down.
That didn't take you much time to watch that clip.
Taking down Gina Carano. No, it took me 17 seconds.
17 seconds.
Yeah, it's rare.
But like you said, I watched him walk out, and I thought Gina Carano, like you said, she looked great. You know, she looked fantastic. And all I could think about was put that woman in a New Republic suit. Get her fighting again. Fight this fight.
It'll be interesting to see if they do. I don't think we're going to see her back.
No, I don't either, but they should.
But again, good for her, good for them. Made a lot of money. I mean, it would have been nice if Gina could have put up something of a fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, she fought another legendary female fighter by the name of Cyborg, Chris Cyborg, and she lost, but she put up a good fight against Cyborg, like as good of a fight as most people have ever put up against Cyborg. So you kind of thought maybe she could go, but Rousey's just people forget she's just a different animal, man. Like once she does, I was listening to John Jones talk about it. So John Jones just said, once it's going to be a fight until Ronda Rousey does this. Once Ronda Rousey gets any sort of grip on her, the fight was going to be over. It just happened that it happened a lot faster than most people were anticipating. I don't think we're going to see an event number 2. Which is too bad. Unless they try to get some legitimate fighters on there to make a legitimate quality fight card, I don't see Netflix doing much more of this. Because again, seeing a half-empty stadium is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did any of you guys take the time to watch the 17-second fight between Gina Carano and the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey? The rest of the card was an incredible waste. I don't know. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.